Seven Warlords of the Sea. Perhaps one of the most interesting and incredible organization that Oda ever created. But what does the original Japanese term Oka Shichibukai mean? O means king, ruler. Ka is the term under, in the meaning of submitting to someone or something. Shichi is the number 7. Bu is a military officer. Kai is the sea. A sensible composition is quickly made. 7 sea military officers in the service of the sovereign. And who were the military officers of the sea who put themselves at the service of sovereigns in exchange for favors or benefits? Privateers, or better, corsairs. Corsairs were pirates in the service of a government who, with a written permission, called in French lettre de course, hence the term corsair, surrendered part of the profits from their raids to their master, and in return were granted combatant status and a flag under which to legally sail the seas, which authorized them to rob only enemy merchant ships and to kill people, but only in combat. Convenient for sea raiders. Don't you agree with me? Considering the privileges of the 7 warlords of the sea, it all adds up. In return for their service to the world government, including their obligation to help maintain the balance of power between emperors and the navy by siding with the latter when summoned, the 7 warlords receive a pardon for their past crimes, and their bounties are considered invalid. They remain pirates, but can roam freely wherever they wish, and can attack any crew they encounter without consequence. They also have a license to plunder. Additionally, some of them received special pardons. Boa Hancock, for example, secured a ban on any government ship approaching Amazon Lily, ensuring the safety and isolation of her homeland. Jinbe, on the other hand, obtained the cancellation of slave status for all those who were part of the Sun Pirates, granting them freedom and a new status in society. These privileges not only highlight the unique status of the warlords, but also underline the strategic importance the world government places on their alliance. Grammatically speaking, the correct translation would be the 7 Corsairs, but if you prefer the Viz Media adaptation, you can use 7 Warlords of the Seas instead. Of this group, we know almost everything they have been up to during their lifetime, but it has always been somewhat difficult to understand the order in which they joined this government organization, with the purpose of containing the piratical activities rampant in the seas of the Grand Line. Curiously enough, they have always been referred to as Shichibukai, a term that carries the connotation of 7. Even when referring to the beginning of this organization's history. This implies that there have consistently been 7 members from its foundation. Alternatively, it could be speculated that the name remains unchanged, regardless of the number of members, which would lack logical coherence. Anyway, let us try to find the order in which the Corsairs, the first 7 Corsairs known to us, entered this world government-sponsored organization. The first member for whom we have some definite, though slightly unclear news of their admission into the 7 Corsairs is Crocodile, our favorite sir, who gained fame as the Sabaku no O, or King of the Desert. Presently, Crocodile is 46 years old. However, through an SBS in volume 78, we learn that during Trafalgar Law's flashback, a newspaper glimpse shows a 37-year-old Crocodile, already a Corsair, being praised in the media for his courageous actions in the Kingdom of Arabasta. According to Oda, Crocodile joined the 7 when he was in his early 20s. Furthermore, we know that 24 years ago, when he was just 22, he witnessed Roger's execution in Logtown, along with many other pirates and men who would soon be on everyone's lips as renowned and notorious criminals. This, in my opinion, is date 0. The 7 Corsairs organization were undoubtedly created during the year when the Great Age of Piracy arose, to stop the barbarian horde, the pirates to the New World. So I would say that Crocodile, about 23 years ago, so the year after Roger's death, becomes one of the 7 Corsairs, at the age of 23. Along with him, obviously in my opinion, 2 other of his former colleagues, namely Gecko Moria and Dracule Mihawk, joined. Moria, currently age 50, was also in Logtown 24 years ago. The next year, he encountered defeat at the hands of Kaido in Wano country. It should be noted that even then, Moria carried a bounty of 320 million, which got frozen upon his inclusion in the 7. Thanks to the Vivre cards, we now comprehend that he returned to West Blue after his defeat, subsequently constructing his ship Thriller Bark. Not long after, Moria joined the Oka Shichibukai. In my perspective, given these series of events and the freezing of his bounty, Moria likely became a member of the 7 around 23 years ago, making him 27 at the time. The same possibly applies to Mihawk, who was present in Logtown during the King of Pirates' execution. Regarding Hawkeye's, we may not possess an exact date of his association with the Corsairs. However, considering his immense strength and reputation as a formidable marine hunter, it is reasonable to assume that the world government swiftly integrated Mihawk into the ranks of the 7. Hence, as I aforementioned, Crocodile, Mihawk, and Moria were the initial members of the then fledgling Corsairs. Moreover, in order to solidify this fact, with whom did Crocodile form the Cross Guild in conjunction? Clearly with one of his earliest companions, Mihawk. Consequently, it is plausible that Mihawk, at the age of 19, allied himself with the Warlords 23 years ago, alongside Crocodile, Moria, and 4 other unidentified pirates. Boa Hancock is another remarkable figure. 13 years ago, she gained the esteemed title of Corsair through her extraordinary achievements. It is astonishing to note that at a mere age of 18, Hancock ascended to the position of Empress of the powerful Kuja tribe. Her rise to prominence, despite her youthful age, captivated the attention of both the Marine and the world government. The mere potential she possessed threatened them, particularly when she amassed a substantial bounty after just a single battle. This compelled the government to promptly extend a pledge, vowing to safeguard Amazon Lily and the Kuja tribe, in exchange for the mighty strength of the mighty Snake Princess. 12 years ago, even the Knight of the Sea, Jinbe, joined the 7 Corsairs. Following Tiger's death and Arlong's capture, Jinbe inherited Fisher Tiger's legacy and assumed the role of captain for the Sun Pirates. Having engaged in numerous battles, his bounty escalated to 250 million. Consequently, the government extended an invitation for him to join the 7. Although some members of the Sun Pirates considered this offer disrespectful, Jinbe informed them that he intended to accept the government's proposition. Subsequently, he conferred with King Neptune regarding his plan to enhance the bond between species, and ultimately accepted the government's offer. As a result, at the age of 34, Jinbe became one of the 7 Corsairs. Next up is Doflamingo's turn. A decade ago, a 31-year-old Doffy began constructing his reputation by pilfering heavenly tribute from the world's nobility and coercing the world government via blackmail. Through this cunning tactic, he successfully attained the status of Corsair, granting him immunity for whatever mischief he might cause. In due course, on a fateful night, Doflamingo emerged in Dressrosa, infiltrating the chambers of King Riku Doldo III and meticulously orchestrating a trap. As a result, he deposed the ruler of the island and ascended the throne as the new king of Dressrosa. Finally, Bartholomew Kuma, a priest of Sorbet Kingdom, who had an unexpected fate as he was labeled a pirate. However, unbeknownst to many, he was an initial member of the Revolutionary Army, holding a significant weakness in the form of his daughter, Bonnie, who was suffering from a life-threatening illness. As a friend of the revolutionary leader Dragon, the genius Dr. Vegapunk, fascinated by Kuma's physical potential, offered to help him to save his daughter. In return, Kuma would have to participate in the alteration of his own body and the experimentation with clones. This event occurred 4 years ago, when Portgas D. Ace triumphed over the pirate Hanafuda, creating an opening among the Corsairs. However, the young pirate rejected the proposal to take Hanafuda's place. Bartholomew Kuma, in the meantime, made his way back to Sorbet to fetch Bonnie and accompany her to Vegapunk's laboratory located in Egghead. As one of the 5 elders, St. J. Garcia Saturn, stumbled across the conversation between Kuma and Dr. Vegapunk, their discussion caught his interest, compelling her to dispatch Admiral Kizaru to intervene. Despite still being keen on recruiting Kuma due to his past as a former slave who had successfully escaped from God Valley Island, Saturn proposed 3 conditions that needed to be met in order to assist Bonnie. Kuma must assume the role of one of the 7 Corsairs in lieu of Hanafuda, undergo the transformation into a cyborg, and forfeit any trace of his personality and free will. In order to save his daughter, Kuma acquiesced to these conditions, officially joining the ranks of the 7 Corsairs exactly 4 years ago. So, almost definitively, this could be the order of entry into the 7 Warlords of the Sea organization. The first 3, Sir Crocodile, Gecko Moria, and Dracule Mihawk, perhaps along with 4 other half-men, 23 years ago. A decade later, Boa Hancock comes in to replace someone, 13 years ago. Jinbe the next year, 12 years ago. 2 years later, Don Quixote Doflamingo, 10 years ago. And 6 years later, Bartholomew Kuma, 4 years ago. And that's all, folks. Feel free to share your thoughts on these dates. If anything doesn't make sense to you, or if you have better ideas for the dates we're unsure about, please don't hesitate to speak up. Also, I'd love to hear anything you admire about the 7 Corsairs, even because they have been replaced by the Seraphim, who truly embody all their qualities. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I've noticed that many of you stop by and watch without subscribing. Your support is crucial, as it makes a huge difference. Don't forget to comment and give a thumbs up. I salute you. Do your best and enjoy your life. See you soon.